Gama Pinto was born in Nairobi, Kenya, in 1927, at a time when the city was a vibrant crossroads of cultures, commerce, and colonial power. Nairobi, then a young city under British rule, was home to a diverse population including many families from the Indian subcontinent who had arrived as laborers, traders, and professionals. Pinto's parents were Goan immigrants, part of a close-knit community that straddled two worlds, the traditions of their Indian heritage and the realities of life in colonial East Africa. Navigating the complexities of British colonial society, they instilled in young Pio a strong sense of identity, resilience, and justice. At the age of 8, Pinto was sent to India for his education, a journey that would profoundly shape his worldview. Immersed in the energy of a nation fighting for its freedom, he witnessed firsthand the passion and determination of those struggling against British rule. The Indian independence movement was in full swing, and its ideals left a lasting impression on the young student. Pinto eagerly joined student protests, absorbing the rhetoric and strategies of Indian nationalists. He became a founding member of the Goa National Congress, a group dedicated to ending Portuguese colonialism in his ancestral homeland. Through these experiences, he learned the importance of organization, courage, and the power of collective action. Pinto's activism did not go unnoticed. His commitment to the cause drew the attention of colonial authorities, and soon an arrest warrant was issued for him. Facing the threat of imprisonment, he was forced to leave India, but his resolve only grew stronger. In 1949, Pinto returned to Kenya, forever changed by his experiences in India. He brought with him a deep conviction in the fight for justice and equality, and a belief that the struggle against colonialism was not limited by borders. The lessons he learned in India, solidarity, anti-imperialism, and the transformative power of united action, became the foundation of his political life. These values would guide him as he joined the growing movement for independence in Kenya. Pinto returned home not just as a young man, but as a seasoned activist, ready to challenge colonial rule in Africa. He was determined to use his experiences to inspire others and to fight for a more just and equal society. For Gama Pinto, this was only the beginning of a remarkable journey, a journey that would leave an indelible mark on Kenya's struggle for freedom. Back in Kenya, Pinto quickly joined the East African Indian National Congress but found its moderate approach lacking. Disillusioned, he co-founded the Kenya Freedom League, uniting Africans, Asians, and progressive Europeans against British rule. Pinto's vision was radical, a non-racial, unified movement for independence. He urged Kenyan Asians to stand in solidarity with Africans, arguing that true freedom required dismantling colonialism, not reforming it. His uncompromising stance set him apart, making him a key figure in the militant wing of the independence movement. Pinto's relentless organizing and coalition building laid the groundwork for a more intense liberation struggle. He believed only a united front could defeat the divide and rule tactics of the British. The stage was set for a new phase in Kenya's fight for freedom. Pinto wielded journalism as a weapon, transforming the Daily Chronicle into a platform for anti-colonial voices. He published in multiple languages, ensuring the message of resistance reached all Kenyans. Pinto also used All India Radio's Swahili program to bypass colonial censorship and inspire international solidarity. When the Mau Mau rebellion erupted, Pinto openly supported the fighters, providing resources and co-producing their underground publication, The High Command. He organized legal defense for the Kapenguria Six, including Jomo Kenyatta, risking his own safety. Pinto's unwavering support for the Mau Mau made him a prime target for the colonial regime. His activism was both public and clandestine, amplifying the struggle for independence. The colonial authorities soon moved to silence him. Pinto's unwavering support for the Mau Mau movement, which fought for Kenya's independence from British colonial rule, led to his arrest in 1954. He was seen as a threat by the authorities, not only for his activism, but also for his ability to unite people across racial and social divides. He was sentenced to 5 years of harsh detention on the remote and windswept Manda Island, a place notorious for its brutal conditions and isolation from the outside world. As one of the very few non-Africans imprisoned for supporting the Mau Mau, Pinto's presence in the camp was a powerful challenge to the colonial narrative that painted the struggle as purely an African affair. Despite being offered special treatment due to his background, Pinto refused all racial privileges in prison. He chose instead to share food and daily hardships with his African comrades, breaking down barriers that the colonial system tried so hard to maintain. Through these acts, he forged deep bonds of solidarity and mutual respect, inspiring others to stand together in the face of adversity. Pinto's commitment to justice didn't stop at protest. He organized secret classes within the camp, teaching fellow prisoners to read and write, empowering them with knowledge that would serve them long after their release. The prison yard, once a place of despair, became a school of liberation, where hope and resistance flourished even behind barbed wire. These small but significant acts of defiance strengthened the resolve of all detainees, reminding them that their struggle was just, and their spirits unbreakable. When Pinto finally emerged from prison in 1959, he was physically worn, but his revolutionary spirit remained unbroken. He was welcomed as a hero by those who knew the sacrifices he had made. His reputation as a principled and courageous leader was now cemented, and his story inspired many to continue the fight for freedom. The years of imprisonment had only deepened his commitment to radical change and social justice, shaping his vision for a new Kenya. Now more determined than ever, Pinto dedicated himself to building a free and just Kenya, where all people could live with dignity and equality. For Pinto and his comrades, the struggle was far from over. Their fight for liberation had only just begun. After his release, Pinto co-founded the Kenya Freedom Party, which merged with KANU as independence neared. He became a key advisor to Vice President Oginga Odinga, championing socialism and economic justice. Pinto pushed for land redistribution and nationalization of industries, clashing with the pro-Western capitalist faction led by Kenyatta and Tom Mboya. He worked to amend Sessional Paper No. 10, seeking a genuinely socialist path for Kenya. Pinto's fierce dedication and public confrontations with Kenyatta made him a formidable critic of the new government. His vision was clear: independence meant little without true economic liberation for all. This made him a powerful enemy of the emerging elite. The stakes and the dangers were rising. On the morning of February 24, 1965, Gama Pinto was gunned down just outside his modest Nairobi home, a shocking act that shattered the calm of the city's leafy suburbs. The news spread rapidly, sending ripples of fear and disbelief through the young nation. Pinto became independent Kenya's first political murder victim, a chilling milestone that marked the beginning of a darker era in the country's history. His assassination sent shockwaves through every corner of the nation, leaving ordinary citizens and political leaders alike reeling from the loss. Pinto had been a tireless advocate for equity, socialism, and the rights of the marginalized. His voice, once a beacon for the oppressed, was suddenly and violently silenced. The investigation that followed was marred by controversy and suspicion from the very beginning. Many believed the authorities were more interested in closing the case than uncovering the truth. Kisilu Mutua, a young man with little connection to Pinto, was swiftly arrested and convicted amid widespread allegations of torture, forced confessions, and scapegoating. Decades later, the Truth, Justice, and Reconciliation Commission would conclude that Pinto's killing was politically motivated, implicating powerful figures within the government and exposing a web of secrecy. Despite years of protests, public outcry, and calls for justice from activists and Pinto's family, the real masterminds behind the assassination have never been brought to light. The truth remains buried, hidden behind closed doors and official silence, as those responsible continue to evade accountability. Pinto's assassination marked a turning point in Kenya's post-independence journey, a moment when hope gave way to fear and suspicion. His funeral was a somber affair, attended by grieving friends, family, and supporters, but conspicuously lacking any official honors or recognition from the state he had served. For years, Pinto's legacy was left in the shadows, his grave often neglected, and his contributions largely unacknowledged by those in power. The cover-up of his murder became woven into the fabric of Kenya's troubled political history, a symbol of the dangers faced by those who dared to challenge authority. Yet the fight for truth and justice continues, as new generations demand answers and honor Pinto's enduring legacy of courage and resistance. For years, Pinto's legacy was suppressed, his radical vision too inconvenient for official history. Family, friends, and activists kept his memory alive, celebrating his commitment to justice and equality. Recent years have seen a resurgence of interest exhibitions, podcasts, and civil society campaigns have revived his story. The 2013 TJRC report recommended honoring Pinto and releasing all records on his assassination, but implementation has stalled. Activists continue to demand justice and recognition, petitioning the government to confront its past. Pinto is now remembered as a symbol of the ongoing struggle for truth and accountability. His story inspires new generations to fight for a fairer Kenya. The battle for his legacy is far from over. Pinto's life remains a mirror for Kenya's present struggles. Land injustice, inequality, and elite power persist. His vision of a multiracial, unified nation challenges the ethnic politics that still divide the country. Pinto's example urges Kenyans to build coalitions for justice, not fall into tribalism. The impunity surrounding his assassination echoes in today's unresolved political violence. His story warns of the dangers of forgetting the past and failing to hold leaders accountable. Pinto's radical vision, solidarity, equality, and economic justice, remains a path not taken. As new generations demand change, they echo the ideals Pinto championed. His legacy endures as a call to action for a truly free and just Kenya.